There's a rare kind of strength that Sigma Empaths carry, the kind that doesn't need to shout, argue, or prove anything. It's a power that moves quietly, yet shifts everything around them. People misunderstand it, underestimate it, even try to challenge it, but they never truly see it coming. This video will take you inside that silent force, the psychology, discipline, and intuition that makes Sigma Empaths both deeply compassionate and completely untouchable. Because when a Sigma Empath decides to stop absorbing chaos and start mastering it, they become one of the most powerful personalities alive. Calm on the surface, unstoppable underneath. If you're an empath who's tired of being misunderstood, this one's for you. Watch closely, because by the end, you'll see why your quiet strength isn't weakness, it's dominance in disguise. Subscribe to Brainy Empath for more videos that reveal the deep emotional intelligence and hidden power of Sigma Empaths. And tell me in the comments, what's one thing people always misunderstand about your calmness? They sense energy before words are spoken. A Sigma Empath walks into a room and instantly feels everything: the tension, the unspoken motives, the quiet sadness hiding behind someone's smile. They don't need words to understand what's going on. Their intuition reads emotional energy like a second language. While most people listen to what's being said, a Sigma Empath listens to what isn't. They pick up the subtle changes in body language, tone, and atmosphere that reveal far more than any conversation ever could. It's not something they turn on, it's something that's always on. But this ability doesn't come from magic, it comes from awareness sharpened by experience. They've been through emotional chaos, betrayal, and confusion, which train their mind to notice details others overlook. When someone enters their space, they can instantly sense whether the energy is genuine, manipulative, or heavy. They're not judging, they're scanning, protecting, and preparing. This is why Sigma Empaths often seem distant at first. They're not being cold, they're reading the environment before deciding how much of themselves to reveal. And that's their quiet superpower. While others rush to connect, the Sigma Empath observes. They let energy speak before emotions interfere. In seconds, they can sense who's authentic and who's pretending, who's peaceful and who's chaotic beneath the surface. It's not just emotional intelligence, it's survival intelligence. Years of carrying other people's emotions taught them that not every smile is safe, and not every "I'm fine" is true. This deep, energetic awareness gives them an invisible edge in every situation, relationships, conversations, even conflict. Because when you can read the emotional field of a room, you don't just react, you navigate. That's why people often say Sigma Empaths feel mysterious or hard to fool. The truth is, they've already understood you long before you finished your sentence. They move through the world guided not by words, but by energy. And that's a kind of perception very few will ever comprehend. They stay emotionally grounded while reading chaos. Sigma Empaths are built for emotional storms. They can stand in a room full of anger, confusion, or manipulation and still remain centered, as if they're observing the chaos from a calm distance. This ability doesn't mean they don't feel. They feel everything, but they've learned to ground themselves before the emotion takes control. They breathe through tension, analyze before reacting, and allow emotions to flow through them instead of into them. It's a skill that comes from years of being the emotional stabilizer for others. They've been the person everyone vented to, cried to, or leaned on, and they've seen what happens when you absorb too much pain that isn't yours. So now, they stay present but detached, aware of the chaos without becoming part of it. When someone lashes out, manipulates, or tries to provoke a reaction, the Sigma Empath doesn't flinch. They read the energy, understand what's really behind it, and respond with calm that unnerves everyone else. What makes them different from typical empaths is that they no longer confuse empathy with absorption. They don't take on the emotional weight of others, they simply recognize it. That's why their energy feels grounded, steady, and hard to shake. People can project anger, sadness, or manipulation toward them, but it's like throwing pebbles at a mountain. Their strength isn't loud, it's composed. This grounded nature gives them an almost magnetic presence. Others sense safety around them but can't quite explain why. It's because Sigma Empaths have mastered emotional self-regulation. They're not swept up by collective emotions. They remain the observer, the calm eye of the storm. And that's their silent power. They can stand in the middle of chaos, hold their peace, and let the world exhaust itself while they remain unshaken. They use detachment to maintain clarity, not coldness. Detachment for a Sigma empath isn't emotional distance, it's emotional clarity. They've learned through experience that being deeply empathetic doesn't mean losing themselves in everyone else's pain. When they detach, it's not because they've stopped caring, it's because they finally understand that clarity disappears when emotions take over. Their detachment allows them to see people and situations as they truly are, without the fog of sympathy, guilt, or obligation clouding their judgment. In their earlier years, Sigma empaths would dive headfirst into other people's emotions, believing that feeling everything deeply was the truest form of connection. But after being drained, betrayed, or misunderstood too many times, they realized that not every problem deserves their energy. Detachment became their boundary, a form of self-respect that protects their mind from emotional overload. It's how they remain kind without being consumed, present without being pulled apart. When people call them cold, they quietly smile because they know the truth. Their detachment is what keeps their compassion pure. It prevents emotional manipulation from sneaking in and allows them to help others without losing balance. They can sit with someone's pain, understand it, and still say, "This isn't mine to carry." That's strength disguised as calm. And that calmness confuses people who mistake empathy for endless giving. The Sigma empath knows better now. Being detached doesn't mean they care less. It means they care wisely. It's the difference between drowning with someone and teaching them how to swim. Through detachment, they regain control of their emotions, protect their peace, and see situations with a level of truth that most people never reach. It's not coldness, it's emotional intelligence in its highest form. They mirror others to reveal hidden truths. When a Sigma empath mirrors someone, it's not manipulation, it's revelation. They have an uncanny ability to reflect people's energy right back at them, allowing others to see their own intentions, insecurities, or deceit without a single confrontation. This mirroring isn't something they plan, it happens naturally because they're deeply attuned to emotional frequencies. When you're around a Sigma empath, your true self, whether genuine or fake, eventually shows up. If someone is kind and authentic, the Sigma empath reflects warmth and openness. But if someone is manipulative or insincere, that same person suddenly feels uneasy, exposed, even defensive, as if the empath can see behind their mask. And in a way, they can. By subtly mirroring body language, tone, or emotional energy, the Sigma empath lets people's own behavior echo back at them. It's like holding up a mirror that reveals everything others try to hide. This ability often leaves others unsettled, especially narcissists or toxic personalities who thrive on illusion. When they can no longer control the narrative or distort perception, they start unraveling. Because the Sigma empath's presence alone forces honesty. The beauty of this mirroring power is that the empath doesn't have to expose anyone. They simply exist as a reflection that reveals truth naturally. Over time, Sigma empaths realize how powerful this quiet tool really is. They no longer waste energy explaining or defending themselves. Instead, they allow their calm awareness to do the work. People eventually reveal who they are in the presence of someone who can't be fooled by charm or chaos. That's the essence of a Sigma empath's mirroring. It's not revenge, it's reality. They don't expose people through words. They let the truth speak for itself, and it always does. They channel pain into intuition and awareness. Every Sigma empath has walked through seasons of deep emotional pain, betrayal, loss, manipulation, or being misunderstood. But unlike most, they don't let that pain destroy them. They study it. They sit with it long enough to decode what it's teaching them. Pain becomes their teacher, not their identity. Over time, they realize that every heartbreak sharpened their perception, every disappointment deepened their intuition, and every silence taught them how to hear what words never say. Where others collapse under the weight of emotional wounds, the Sigma empath alchemizes it. They turn the same pain that once broke them into awareness, a heightened sensitivity that allows them to read energy, motives, and emotions with uncanny precision. It's not mystical, it's pattern recognition born from survival. They've seen what happens when they ignore their instincts, so now their intuition has become their shield. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. At first, the pain feels unbearable, a chaos that seems impossible to control. But slowly, through solitude and reflection, the Sigma Empath begins to understand that awareness is power. They start connecting dots others miss, noticing the smallest emotional inconsistencies, feeling when someone's intentions shift, sensing when energy turns dark. That pain becomes the quiet voice that whispers, "You've been here before, you know what this means." By channeling pain into awareness, they no longer fear being hurt again. The same emotions that once left them powerless now guide them toward truth. And the deeper the wound once was, the sharper their vision becomes. It's not bitterness, it's evolution. Every scar turns into a signal, every heartbreak into higher consciousness. The Sigma Empath learns that pain doesn't end them, it awakens them. They protect their energy through strategic silence. For Sigma Empaths, silence isn't avoidance, it's defense. After years of being emotionally available to the wrong people, they've learned that not every situation deserves a reaction, and not every person deserves an explanation. Their silence has purpose. It's how they conserve energy, maintain clarity, and regain control in environments that once drained them. While others overshare or overreact, the Sigma Empath studies the room, measures the emotional temperature, and speaks only when it truly matters. This silence is a calculated strategy. It shields them from manipulation and emotional overload. When someone tries to provoke or guilt-trip them, they don't respond, not out of weakness, but because they understand that engagement is energy. They refuse to feed toxic dynamics with emotional fuel. Their calm confuses manipulators, their composure frustrates narcissists, and their quiet boundaries send a louder message than any argument ever could. In the past, Sigma Empaths might have filled every silence with reassurance or explanation, desperate to be understood. Now they've outgrown that. They've realized that peace speaks for itself. They don't explain, they don't justify, and they don't defend their calm. Because true strength doesn't need to announce itself, it simply exists. Their silence disarms those who rely on chaos and commands respect from those who recognize its meaning. Over time, this habit of strategic silence becomes their emotional armor. It allows them to stay grounded in tense situations, to filter truth from noise, and to protect their mind from unnecessary drama. While others exhaust themselves trying to control outcomes, the Sigma Empath simply steps back and observes. Silence becomes their superpower, not emptiness, but precision. It's the space where they think clearly, protect their peace, and maintain the quiet authority that few ever understand. They influence without control, just presence. Sigma Empaths don't persuade people with words, they influence them through energy, presence, and consistency. Their calm confidence and emotional stability create an atmosphere that naturally shifts the behavior of everyone around them. Without even trying, they make people reflect, slow down, and think differently. It's not about manipulation, it's resonance. Their energy speaks louder than any speech ever could. When they enter a room, they don't compete for attention, yet everyone feels their presence. Their grounded nature makes people feel both curious and slightly exposed, because in their stillness, others become aware of their own chaos. The Sigma Empath doesn't need to tell people what's wrong, they make them feel it. This is why manipulators, narcissists, and pretenders often feel uneasy around them. Not because the empath confronts them, but because their truth is impossible to fake in that energy. Their influence is quiet but powerful. They don't try to fix or control anyone, they simply embody what balance looks like, and that energy alone becomes magnetic. People who are lost find clarity around them. People who play games lose interest because it no longer works. The Sigma Empath doesn't lead through dominance. They lead through emotional intelligence. They understand that lasting change never comes from force, only from awareness. This is what makes them so misunderstood. Most people chase influence through attention. Sigma Empaths create it through alignment. They've learned that true impact doesn't require control, it requires self-mastery. Their presence transforms people not because they demand it, but because they are it. In the end, they teach one silent truth. You don't need to control others to shift the world around you. You just have to be the calm they can't ignore. They heal by example, not explanation. Sigma empaths don't preach healing, they live it. After everything they've endured, they've learned that real transformation doesn't come from convincing others to change. It comes from embodying peace, boundaries, and self-respect so clearly that others feel the difference just by being around them. Their strength is quiet but magnetic. People notice it without being told what to notice. In the past, they tried to guide others with words, explaining lessons, offering emotional rescue, and giving second chances that drained their own spirit. But now, they understand that healing isn't about dragging others toward growth. It's about walking it themselves. They lead by example, choosing calm over chaos, reflection over reaction, and solitude over situations that steal their energy. And as they do, the people still meant for them begin to rise to their level naturally. Their presence becomes a mirror for others, showing what emotional maturity, inner balance, and authentic empathy truly look like. When others witness their ability to forgive without reconnecting, love without attachment, and care without self-sacrifice, they start questioning their own behavior. The Sigma Empath never needs to say, "Here's how you heal." Their energy says it for them. This is why their influence is so profound. They don't need to explain how they've changed. Their peace makes it obvious. They no longer chase closure or recognition. Their growth is the only proof they need. And in a world obsessed with validation, that kind of calm becomes power. The Sigma Empath's silence, discipline, and emotional independence become the quiet revolution that heals not through words, but through example. In the end, Sigma Empaths don't need to prove their power, they embody it. Their strength doesn't come from confrontation or control. It comes from self-awarenesses, boundaries, and the peace they protect at all costs. They've learned that the greatest victory is not winning every battle, but mastering the energy you bring into every one of them. So if you're a Sigma Empath watching this, remember, your calm isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Keep guarding your peace, keep moving in silence, and let your growth speak louder than your words ever could. If this message resonates with you, take a moment to subscribe for more deep insights about Sigma Empaths and emotional intelligence, and share in the comments. Do you believe silence can be more powerful than confrontation?